Weerahanadij Francisco Fernando alias Puran appu, full name. Weera Sanadana Weera Balasurya Karuu Thumpala Arthadewa Gunaratni Nanayakara Lakshapathi Malhawidanalaj Francisco Fernando Sinhala is one of the notable personalities in Sri Lanka's history. He was born on November 1812 in the coastal town of Marathua. He left Marathua at the age of 13 and stayed in Ratnapura with his uncle, who was the first Sinhalese proctor, and moved to the UVA province. In early 1847, he met and married Bandaramanike, the daughter of Gunapana Arakchi and Kandy. He was captured by the British after the failure of Matale rebellion along with Gongolegoda Banda and Ven Kudapolathera. He was executed by a firing squad on August 8, 1848. His body was buried in Matale. He rose from among the common people and he dared to challenge the might of British imperialism at its peak of power and glory during the Victorian era. On the 28th of July 1848, Puran appu led an attack on Matale. This was successful. However, the other leaders who attacked Kurungala and Warriarpola failed. Governor Viscount Torrington, in a letter to Earl Grey, the Secretary of State for War and the Colonies in London, dated October 9, 1849, I remind you of the last words of Puran appu. He held up his hands and said if there had been half a dozen such men as me to lead, there would not be a white man living in the Kanjin province. This is true, if there had been such leaders. Without doubt for a time we should have lost the country. Francisco Vera Puran appu attended the Wesleyan school in Marathua and was a very mischievous boy. After a fight and thrashing the village headman from Lakshapathia, he fled from Marathua in 1825 at the age of 13. He travelled about the country, mostly the hill country, Halda Mullatabidula and other places. His uncle, W. Marcellinus Francisco Fernando, was the first Sinhalese proctor who had a flourishing practice at Ratnapura, and in 1840 Francisco stayed with him. It was at this stage of his career that he headed a band of outlaws and initiated a reign of terror against European planters and officials in UVA, much to the delight of the people. His daring exploits against the white men soon made him a legendary hero in the tradition of Robin Hood and Wat Tyler. He was now convinced of the necessity of driving away the British from the country in order to emancipate the people from the hardships and humiliations they suffered under the foreign yoke. With this end in view, he conferred with the Sangha of Mahiyangana and Mathiyangana, who pledged him their support. This was in 1845. About this time he encountered romance and lost his heart to a highland lass, Bandaramanike of Harrisbatawa, whom he married in 1847. She bore him a daughter. Francisco was now called Purancisco or Puran appu. He broke into house of Magistrate Dawson of Badula and was imprisoned, and then broke prison. He cursed Major Rogers, who brought a false charge against him, and Major Rogers was struck by lightning in Nuwara. The Gazette notification by the Colonial Secretary, Sir James Emerson Tennant, on January 1, 1847, offered £10 for his apprehension and described him as follows: Perangapo, originally of Moret, lately of Kandy, trade, unknown, caste fisher. Aged 34 years, height 5 feet 71 halves of an inch, hair long and black, eyes light hazel, complexion light, well-looking, make well-made, stout, marks of punishment on the back and 4 vaccination marks. James Daralwy's writing in 1876 of the events of 1848 in the Ceylon Overland Examiner states that Puran appu, or Veerahanadij Francisco Fernando, was of the Karava caste, in whom a bold and daring disposition was combined with a strong and healthy constitution. After 3 weeks of preparation in the early hours of July 28, 1848, a crowd of 8 to 10,000 men under Puran appu's leadership, armed with guns, spears and knives, set off for Kandy from Dambulla. The plan was for Puran appu, Gongalagoda Banda and Dingarala to go in 3 different directions, then meet at Katugastota and attack Kandy on Sunday the 30th of July. Puran appu's army first attacked Fort McDowell in Matale. Government buildings and property were ransacked, catcheries, jails, rest houses and courthouse records. The coffee stores of Lieutenant General Herbert Maddock, a key advisor to the government in Kandy, was set on fire. Puran appu was successful in capturing Matale for a while, and the people, in another demonstration of popular fervor, proclaimed him King of Kandy. His success, however, was short-lived. An ill-trained army, equipped with primitive weapons, was no match for the superior arms and organization of the British halfway between Matale and Kandy. The Sinhala forces, depleted by desertions and their movements betrayed by traitors, were intercepted by British troops, and Puran appu himself was captured and taken to Kandy. With his capture, the rebellion fizzled out. Brought to trial before a court-martial, he was found guilty of having waged war against Queen Victoria and condemned to be shot on August 8, 1848. On the banks of the Bogambara Wewa, Veera Puran appu was executed. Veera Puran appu Vidyalaya, a school in Marathwada, is named after him. A new frog species found from Adams Peak was named Pseudophilavatis Puran appu by the researchers for his great dedication to protect the country from foreign invasions. A biographical film of Puran appu was made on 1978, where Ravindra Randaniya acted as Puran appu.